To explain why I'm angry at YouTube, let me introduce you to the TV show The Tribe. I can best describe this show as a sort of post-apocalyptic soap opera. The adult population was wiped out by a virus, and the world is now populated only by kids. The show follows a bunch of children and teenagers trying to survive in the aftermath. The show started airing in April of 1999, when I was 12, and ran for 5 seasons. I think I stopped watching around season 4, but the part that I'm interested in now occurred in the first season, which I would have watched when I was 12 to 13. Officially, the show had a universal rating, meaning suitable for all ages, but I would say that the target audience was probably between about 11 and 15 young teenagers. One of the storylines in season 1 followed Celine and her struggles with bulimia. She would steal the group's food in secret to binge on it, which caused conflict with the other characters. She struggled with feelings of guilt and depression over taking the food, and tried to find outside sources that wouldn't hurt her friends, which got her into trouble. There is a moment at the worst point in her storyline where she is effectively asked to prostitute herself in order to keep access to a supply of food. This is talked about in non-explicit terms and isn't followed through within the show. In fact, the character she is pushed to please actually helps her escape from the situation she's ended up in. This ends up being the trigger for her confessing to him what's been going on, and he encourages her to confess to the others in the group. And they offer sympathy and acceptance. The remainder of this plotline is about her recovery. It's not always a smooth journey, and there are sometimes setbacks along the way, but ultimately the show has her recover with the support of her friends. Overall, it's a very supportive portrayal. It was deliberately written in order to raise awareness of eating disorders in a sympathetic way, specifically to help teenagers who struggle with these issues. In commentaries and interviews on the DVD box set, the writers and actress talked about how important it is to tell stories like this, because these are issues teenagers struggle with. They wanted to show that while recovery can be difficult, it's possible, and that those who struggle should be met with sympathy and support. As I said, I watched this story when I was about 12 or 13, and in my teens I developed an eating disorder of my own that I suffered with through most of my teenage years, eventually getting treatment for EDNOS, which stands for Eating Disorder Not Otherwise Specified. Basically, it's a general category for when you clearly have an eating disorder but you don't fit the exact criteria for anorexia or bulimia or the other things that have a defined set of criteria. And while I was struggling with my own recovery, I found online communities on places like LiveJournal where we could discuss our recovery journeys and our feelings. And there was something incredibly helpful about knowing that I wasn't alone and that there were other people who felt the way I did. I also took a lot of comfort from stories that depicted characters struggling with and trying to recover from eating disorders. I returned to The Tribe and Celine's season 1 plotline, and I found it incredibly comforting to watch this character be met with support and to overcome her struggles. Even knowing it was fictional, that resonated with me and helped me through a vulnerable time. So I made a fan vid about it. I used the song Courage by Superchick, which is a song explicitly about struggling with eating disorders and about trying to recover and supporting others who are trying to recover. I would say Superchick's target audience is probably also teenage girls, and Courage talks about eating disorders in the context of recovery, giving a feeling of community and encouragement and togetherness. There are lines like, "Together we'll make it through somehow," that really summed up my feelings about those online communities and the support I found in them. I used this song and this storyline to make a fan vid encouraging eating disorder recovery. The overall message being essentially, it's hard but it's worth it and we can make it to recovery, along with a dose of, if you feel this way, know that you're not alone and that's okay. I made the sort of content that I found helpful to me when I saw it produced by others. So, bringing this back to me being angry at YouTube, I received an email the other day saying that this fan vid had been age restricted. It contains content about eating disorder that goes against YouTube community guidelines, and so it's been restricted so that under 18s can't access it. Never mind that it was encouraging recovery. Never mind that the content came from a show that was officially given a universal age certificate. Never mind that this sort of messaging was something I desperately needed in my teens and struggling with an eating disorder. Never mind that YouTube's policy on the matter states YouTube users should not be afraid to speak openly about topics of mental health, suicide, self-harm and eating disorders in a supportive and non-harmful way. Nope. It got age restricted and blocked for anyone under the age of 18. I tried to appeal and included the fact that this was from a TV show aimed at children and that it was a message of support for eating disorder recovery. Nope. I got an email back a few hours later saying that the appeal had been rejected, and there was no information about any further actions. No option to appeal an appeal decision. It's just age restricted. And as far as I can tell, nothing I can do about this. I don't have a big channel or an official contact, so tough luck. Someone suggested I try and reach out to the YouTube Twitter account, which I did, explaining that this video was pro-recovery, pointing out the target age of the storyline in question, and they came back to me today stating that the video would stay age-restricted. As far as I can tell, I'm stuck with this decision forever. And presumably, if this happened to my video, it's also happened to hundreds or thousands of other videos out there aimed at helping teenagers who struggle with eating disorders. An arbitrary ban on this sort of content doesn't help anyone. It blocks people from seeing supportive resources just as much as it blocks harmful content. Blocking pro-recovery content is harmful, and YouTube need to do better. I don't have answers. I don't know what to do now. I'm angry because a message of support is blocked from the very people who might need it most. And I'm ranting on here because I don't know what else to do. I don't know if this is something we can raise awareness of or get more people talking about, and then maybe somebody will do something. And my channel is tiny. I don't have the audience to get something like this to cause a big stir. But I know I can't be the only person this has happened to, and maybe there's somebody out there who has a bigger audience than me, who can say something and get YouTube's attention in a way I can't. My video is insignificant and 16 years old. But the thought of pro-recovery content being restricted from teenagers who need to feel that support and encouragement infuriates me. And I want someone at YouTube to take this seriously. So, if anyone has any ideas, please let me know. And if you can raise your voices to try and get YouTube to look more closely at these policies and how they're applied, please do, because I feel completely helpless about this. I know how much this sort of content meant to me when I was struggling, and I don't want other people in the same position I was in to lose out on the sort of online community and sense of connection that helped me. I don't have an ending for this video. I don't have a conclusion. All I have is anger. and nothing to do with it.